And of course, down through the years, we had discussions about things, we had talks about things, and then we had ferocious rows about things. And when you look back at the apoplectic anger experienced by people discussing those things which were nearest and dearest to them, have a look at this selection. Roll it there, Ray, please.
How do you actually sort that problem out? Easy. Easy as far as John Boland's concerned. Try and make a few bob out of it. Charge everybody who wants to apply for the job a tenner. That's the attitude of the government to the problem.
I make one little small
Just answer the
mistake
question. How big is your check?
I've
told you how big my check is.
You're big enough to apply a secretary to make sure your paperwork is correct. I have to do it after my day's work.
You take advantage of the vulnerable and the young to isolate them and brainwash them into believing that your system is somehow the only way of thinking or living.
PAYE people don't get abusive letters, they don't get harassment, they just get huge lumps of money that they shouldn't be paying out of their... And the answer to the problem for PAYE people is to put their affairs in order so as these things don't happen, and the same thing should apply to the self-employed.
Their affairs are perfectly in order. Suddenly they get a demand for money that they do not owe.
And why do you think this is, Austin? Why?
Why? Because the bias shown by the tax inspectors is the explanation.
Absolutely. There was a murder or two in Malvern Street. There were these explosions decided.
I'm sorry to impact, but I asked you to look forward and instead had to go back.
If you would just allow me, we presumably have some time.
I thought we could engage in some chit-chat.
Well, yes, we will, if you'd stop interrupting.
Yeah, well, I don't mind you interrupting me.
Well, I mind you interrupting me, frankly.
Why did we send in those men when the 5 Catholics died and not wait till 10 Protestants died to send us in 150 men? Why wait till then?
Sorry, you are at the moment saying that all of us are big booty men and not to leave a child alone with any of us that we could do some damage. That is a statement. That to me is a very unfair fascist statement. And
Until you've been checked out.
We do not condone no veteran convict condones drunk driving.
Are you going to give the jobs to the vets, the farriers, the saddlers, the liverymen, the lorry men, the breeders, the fellas that do all the things that... And the tourists...
The horse industry is not dependent on despicable, unjustifiable cruelty to a small animal.
You're not listening to my point.
The people would allow the introduction of divorce, but they would not have this snowball effect, this mad gallop and dash to have a divorce. I'm afraid that people like Alice Glenn have a very poor opinion of the Irish people, and in fact they have a very low opinion of Irish marriage.
I'd like to hear, before this discussion finishes, something other than just the coalition view and the Fianna Fáil view, both of whom are Thatcherite, Reaganite parties.
I believe we're doing very well in a lot of respects, and we shouldn't knock this country as much as we're not.
If you think of an infant teacher, a junior infant teacher, with 25 little infants of 4 years old, which is a barbaric age for children to come to school in the first place. There should be proper childcare facilities for them, not school at 4 years old. You think of that. That means that if you go into a corner, as the new curriculum would suggest, and give 5 children 3 minutes of your time, you have 20 children pulling the ceiling down at the other end of the classroom.
Life is not the beating of a heart. The minimum, ideally, that you give a child is 2 parents to love it, a roof over its head, food and hope. And if you can't give it those things, then I submit with respect that the beating of its heart is meaningless.
Some more of the exchanges we lived through down through the years.